It is my sincere honor to go live with Marta Benson, the president of Pottery Barn. And Pottery Barn, remember, sponsored the awards, so thank you. And Marta has also led the transformation and evolution of the Pottery Barn brand. We're going to hear all about it. And Marta, how are you?
Hi, Cindy. I'm excellent. Thank you.
It's so lovely to see you. Okay, this is my second time seeing you, but I'm already sort of like in love with you. So, but first of all, I want everyone to know that your initiatives have really transformed Pottery Barn, and we're going to get to that in the brand. But I want them to get to know you a little bit better too. So, give us the Marta Benson Cliff Notes version of your professional life. No pressure.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. Well, so I stumbled upon a career in retail, and I was a liberal arts major, a philosophy major at Wesleyan University, and I had no idea what I wanted to do after college. Yet I knew I loved beauty, art history, design, and I knew I loved entrepreneurial things, and I had some idea that I was interested in business, but I didn't know how to combine my interest in business with my interest in art and design. And it took me a couple of twists and turns, from working in an art gallery to working at restaurants in New York City to stumbling upon a career in retail. And it really fit because it's a left brain, right brain combination.
Right.
There's the creativity of brand and product design and bringing all that to market. And then there's the quantitative side and the P&Ls and the numbers and the margin. And I ended up just being relatively good at both. I would say there are people who are wildly more creative than me. There are probably people who are wildly more quantitative than me. But to be a good general manager, you need to have a little bit of both. And I've had a wonderful 30-year run working for some terrific brands that have had a sense of purpose, like Smith & Hawken, the organic garden company.
Love it. Yeah.
8 years. And I literally went from a seasonal phone order taker to a head merchant of the catalog. And then I spent 10 years at Restoration Hardware. Initially, when Stephen Gordon, the founder, was growing from only had 4 stores, I was selected to help merchandise these stores. But given I had a catalog background, I launched the catalog and later e-commerce division for Restoration Hardware, growing it from 0 to 250 million. After that, I became a CEO of a luxury brand in San Francisco called Gumps, which is a 150-year-old luxury department store.
Oh, Gumps. Are they around now or?
Yes,
anymore?
they are. They are.
Yeah.
They're still hanging in.
Amazing.
But, Gumps, I was nostalgic for quality and authenticity.
Yeah.
The privilege of Gumps was carrying all of these old world authentic brands. And then about 10 years ago, I joined the Williams-Sonoma Group, initially in a strategy and business development role. We have a family of brands and we have a great platform to help smaller brands grow. I led the acquisition of a beautiful Portland-based lighting company called Rejuvenation.
Oh yeah, we know, we love Rejuvenation.
Super cool.
Yeah.
And I wrote a business plan for an internal startup of a monogramming gift business that really celebrated great typography. So about 5 years ago, I was asked to engage with the Pottery Barn brand. And Pottery Barn is our largest brand, but 5 years ago, it wasn't growing. And so the opportunity to rebuild the culture, the sense of purpose, and to get it growing again has been the opportunity of a lifetime. And we are on that journey and having some success. And I look forward to telling you a little bit more about that later.
Yeah. I mean, was that like a big decision in your life to say yes to that? You've obviously had many successes, right?
To say yes to Pottery Barn, or
to say yes to you're gonna evolve this brand.
Yeah. Well, I would say that I consider myself an entrepreneur, and I used to tell our CEO that the strategy and business development job was my dream job because I got to leverage all of our resources to work on beautiful, smaller, help incubate and grow smaller brands, which is super fun and very entrepreneurial. Yeah. However, I've realized that if I was going to make a contribution to Williams-Sonoma Inc., really renovating and working on its biggest brand would add the most value to the company. So I'm someone who's motivated by challenge. I get, if I'm doing the same thing for too long, I can get a little bored. So
Yeah.
for me, the challenge, I love a good challenge. And I thought, okay, why not? Let's do this. And so initially, it's funny, initially it wasn't really my brand. And I was like,
Right.
I'd worked for every other brand and I was like, it's not my brand. I don't really get it. But I fell in love with the brand as I worked with it. Its DNA of comfortable, casual, accessible, um, good design at a value. So we can really invite more people into our brand. And I have fallen in love with the brand and the team, and I'm very passionate about it. But initially, it was a little bit more of an academic challenge. It's like, okay, sure, professionally
Right.
do this, but
Right.
I have since fallen in love with it
Yeah,
because of the
I could
team
see
you
you.
build. When
Yeah.
you build a team and a culture, then it becomes, self-feeding.
Yeah, that's the thing for folks out there, because who's around her, because I've heard it like so many times, is just like so inspiring. So, some of this conversation is like, take heed, because there's some good notes. So what was that? Was the first thing to rebuild a team? Was that the first thing?
A couple things.
Yeah.
One was to really go to the mountaintop and say, who are we? What do we want to be famous for? What is in our DNA? I think the brand had gotten a little stuck and gotten a little tops down and gotten a little bit just not inclusive, not collaborative. And it meant sort of going to the mountaintop to say, what are our true values? What do we stand for? What is our clear positioning? And so to do that work, we called it our brand truth work, but to do that with a really inclusive cross-functional team so that we would work on it together. So it wasn't like, again, a tops down, like, well, Marta divined the strategy. Now let me tell you the strategy.
Right.
Or do strategic work in an inclusive way and bring everyone along. When you land and get to the conclusion, everyone owns it and you have a much greater chance of being successful. So we did this brand truth work, which was very clarifying and sort of landed who we wanted to be, and then actually it's a work that you constantly revisit and you clarify. And I would say that over this past year, the senior team and I have really worked on just distilling it to, like, what do we want to be famous for? And it's one, ideas and inspiration. The easy entry into our brand is our beautiful lifestyle images, those assets. You'll find them, whether it's on Instagram, on our site, in our catalogs, or beautiful vignettes in our stores. It's ideas and inspiration to do a project. Then it's about quality. We believe in enduring goods and designing it and building things to last. Ours is not the least expensive. Most customers even perceive us as expensive. Because imagine, even with an affluent customer, the average household income is about $110,000. Maybe they're furnishing 4 rooms on $110,000. They have a finite amount to spend. So we try to deliver great style, but also keep it accessible. And yet we don't want stuff in the landfill. We want quality. We want sustainability. So we're very proud of our supply chain, factory audits, environmental audits. We're increasing our penetration of reclaimed woods and woods, and organic cottons. And, so we're very, so I think, back to the how do we turn this thing around? It was like, focus on what are your values? What do you stand for? So ideas, inspiration, quality, sustainability, and then service. At the end of the day, what we care about is being really humble. It's not about us. We're here to serve our guests and help them make their home design projects and renovations easier. And so our service ethic in our stores is something to be so proud of. Or Josie's service ethic in our B2B organization, where they were like 8 brands, with 8 brands, we'll get to yes. I believe Monica coined that.
I love that. We'll get to yes.
So I think it's really rebuilding the positioning, clarifying, gaining alignment, and then rebuilding the culture. And that does sometimes team. Your people have to buy in to a inclusive, collaborative team where cross-functional partnerships are very important. it takes a village to get this done, and you have to respect all the different disciplines. There's no hierarchy of, this group's in charge and everyone else is subservient. No, no, no. Every single functional area has a role to play to delivering this promise. And so we got to be collaborative and respectful and build really a team and a team spirit.
What do you think, so we're talking about the evolution. What does Pottery Barn look like right now? Or what do you want people to understand it to be and see it that way?
Thank you. That's a great question, Cindy, because I will tell you, I think the brand, because it's been around a long time, I think it's stuck in people's minds as some kind of Hobby Lobby country kitchen thing. And if you see the work of, Monica and our product development team, the chic, rustic, modern, it's relaxed, it's casual, it's comfortable. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's beautiful, it's restrained, it celebrates materials. There's a lot of soulful finishes. And I have to say that, again, I think we are, part of our job now is to get unstuck and to change people's perceptions of the brand. But I think what we're famous for is comfortable, casual, relaxed style. And it's as updated as any. I mean, when you see what we really are leading with in terms of our beautiful, relaxed sofas with wide arms and deep seats and very customizable. I mean, our boucle fabrics, all of our nubby and cozy textures, our reclaimed woods. I mean, so we have a lot of silhouettes that are more modern and cleaner, but still have a lot of soulful finishes. So again, that's what I hope people see is where we are today. But I know that, some people are like, oh, that's kind of traditional. And I'm like, what's traditional about what we're doing today? I don't see it is that traditional, but I do think, there's a big market for traditional and maybe we're never going to be bleeding edge, leading edge. We are comfortable, casual. So I do think that, for us, our look is a little bit more of an updated, comfortable, casual, classic, timeless. When we ask our guests what's important to them, they want their homes to be welcoming, inviting. They talk about a feeling and they want to be relaxed and comfortable. They want to be able to put your feet up on the coffee table and not stress about it.
But I do know that Pottery Barn wants the design community to know that you support them and appreciate them. So,
yes,
and I know Josie's doing an unbelievable job, but just expand on that a little bit.
Sure. Well, first of all, the reason we all got into the home business is because we love design, and who leads the way but the interior design community. These are the leaders. They're at the tippy top of the pyramid. So we have a lot of respect for, the interior design community. Now, where do we fit in? I think we used to be a better resource to them, which meant that when they were doing one of their customers' homes, they knew they could go to Pottery Barn for the family room sofa. They could go to Pottery Barn for really great basics and beautiful, whether it was the hurricanes on the back patio or the beautiful, crisp linen sheets. I think that we used to be a better supplier to our friends in the interior design trade, where, I remember hearing people say, well, we'll use such and such a high-end brand for the master suite, but every other room is going to get, Pottery Barn, something a little bit more accessible, a little more affordable.
Right.
So I'd like to think that we can be a great provider to them. Also, we have our own sofa manufacturing. We have our own lighting factory. We can do a lot of custom work. I mean, Josie and her team, can have at their resources, many, many makers and suppliers. So we can really customize and tailor things. So I think we can have a great, symbiotic relationship.
I don't think that designers know that. I don't think they know that the custom programs are available. And I think when they're working on a very complicated project that needs a lot of different levels of, in terms of price point, that you would be a great resource for them. So we want them to know that.
Yeah. But also, as you have covered the beautiful Chase Center, I think what was amazing was no one thought, well, how could Pottery Barn and Williams-Sonoma and West Elm deliver on all of that. And it was like, you know why? Because we have an incredible supply chain. Not only do we have the designers who can help tailor it, but we have the supply chain. So you end up getting such a great value.
The Chase Center was it, like telling that story about that is a complicated project, so much space, and that idea of like, you know, working with Williams-Sonoma and Gensler and all the brands that Gensler didn't know that they would be working with all those brands and all the customization. And that was just so telling, which is why we want to tell more stories, right?
Great.
Yeah. So, okay. So there are a lot of things that you're doing in terms of what you kind of say pillars of your brand. And the reason why you sponsored our first ever Festive Year Student Awards. Yay! Because you're really passionate about supporting and developing talent from students, correct?
Absolutely. Well, so first of all, thank you for giving us the opportunity to support you on this initiative. It was such a delight to see not all of the submissions, but your finalists, your winners.
Yeah.
We all need a talent pipeline.
Yes.
And we have, invested in an internship program ourselves to source really great talent. And some of those interns are in product design and have gone on to work on our product development teams.
Yeah. Students also need that opportunity. They need that chance. And, so for us to like expose it, there's nothing like exposing like great talents. Okay. So then I want to ask you, all right. So I want to know what some of your favorites were. Oh, first of all, you need to know this. So this is the first time we've done this competition. I know it's going to explode next year, but there were 23 schools that submitted, and
Wow.
There were 17 countries represented. And then we ended up picking our favorites from 13 schools. So that's like kind of amazing. I think that's kind of amazing.
To be honest,
okay. Yeah.
When you sent it to me, I couldn't believe how global the scope was. I was so impressed. Everything from Paris to Pasadena to the United Arab Emirates to Spain to
China to New York City. I mean,
that's
who we are. That's
your global. You have a global footprint. I
know. And the one thing that like sort of breaks my heart is that when we do Best of Year, so tomorrow's products, which are like 100 categories, and products the next year, it is so global, Marta, that typically people come in from all over the world. They don't know if they've won, and they come in and they're with everybody, and then they just become part of the family. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it is kind of amazing. So these kids don't have this opportunity this time, but still they're the first. So there's something about being the first. Yeah. So, okay. So you got to tell me some of your favorites. Let's chat a little.
Okay. Well, I would tell you that I don't know if however the team that sent me the files, the first one I opened, I found to be so delightful. And that is the project called Walkie. Armando Moro Medina.
Yes.
I loved his whole, and not just his concept, but his storytelling and how he took a concept, it had an arc, it had a story, it was playful, it was delightful. He talked about curiosity and interaction and personality. And then his execution of the actual bistro chair with the feet was just beautiful, well done. And then the way he positioned the story and shot the chair in all the different locations, I was like, it was kind of like A+ from concept to execution to presentation. And I was like, wow, like, yes.
I completely agree. I was like so smitten. First of all, he's from SCAD, and SCAD, they're, super open and creative, and they're always allowing designers to like push themselves into the things that they love to do. But you are right. And it's like kind of a great example for other people to see, like having a narrative, having the product, the product has so much spirit. I know exactly, the name, the whole thing. And then the fact that he presented it so well. I mean, A++, right? Okay. We love Walkie.
No. So that one, and also just, you can't underestimate as a merchant, the power of storytelling.
Right. I agree.
Products have to have meaning.
Right.
We can buy products anywhere, everywhere, 24/7, right? what makes a product resonate. It's
I agree.
the power of the story is like I mean, that's where I grew up as a merchant, like finding products with stories. And so
I agree.
that one just like,
I agree. I'm always telling, so just so you know, so I'm always telling designers and architects to photograph the story, not just document the project. Give me the story visually, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, anyway. Okay. So what's the next thing?
Okay. The next one, I think, I want to give a shout out to the French duo that created the beautiful, they were called the mood lamps. And it was,
Banana leaf.
yeah, that one.
Yeah.
The so the banana, figuring out, doing the work, the hard work to figure out how to use those materials, the stem of the banana trunk, whatever.
Right.
And then, I mean, so I think this is a very important theme, which is the exploration of the use of new materials. And particularly if they're environmental materials, like an invasive weed or this or that. But I thought that the French, those lamps were so artful, and the use of the banana trunk stem or whatever. I was just like, I thought it was really, really, really refined and elegant, beautiful execution. So
yeah, I sort of joked in the presentation because I kind of loved that they said it's a limited edition, available in 3 sizes. There's a good message there for students, because I hear from, you know, folks in the industry that say, as a young person, go explore the world, right?
Yeah.
And because they did, and they met this tribe, that they learned about the banana leaf, and they learned, oh my God, we could do something with this. I mean, that's like, that's kind of living your best life and making design from it. So yes, I completely agree. And the idea of sustainability and all that. Okay, give us another one.
Okay. So then another one I thought was very, really impressive was the twisted brick from the Indian school group, the duo that did the 3D printed facade system. Like that was mind blowing. Like take an object, like reinvent the brick. Now, how, like that's hard. That is not a simple task. It's got to fit hand. It's got to be able to be worked on together. I thought that was just not only beautiful, but hard and interesting. And again, it speaks to this innovation of how we move building materials forward. And I thought that was very, very well done.
I did too. And it was also a great message about collaboration, because they were a trio and they were exploring something that was obviously very, very complicated. And we don't know all the details, but I'm sure each of them like brought something else to the table. And we talked all about the future is collaboration. So I thought, and it was so beautiful, the detail of the material, because we kind of broke down the presentation. So I wanted everyone to kind of see what materials they selected. That detail of the material, that earthenware, grog, white clay, was like, whoa, gorgeous, right?
Yeah.
All right, give us one more. I know they're all fantastic, but
yeah, no, they all are. But okay, my last reference point would be, I thought that the student named Di Lu from China, and particularly the tissue box, the way he just so elegantly took and innovated around just a dumb average household basic and turned it into this sublime thing of beauty. And it was just so restrained and beautiful and elegant. And I just was like, okay, that works too. That was just very, very, very special.
Yeah, I completely agree. So he submitted like 5 or 6 products. And, you know, if you do the typical thing and you like him, you kind of pick one. And Helene and I, we were like, no. This shows his mind. So his mind, obviously, he likes small things, but he loves the detail and what his design does to something else. Because he talks about, it was a little hard to see it in this, but he talks about, like, depending how you pull the tissue paper out, it creates a different pattern. I mean, come on, that's enough to make you cry just on a tissue paper holder. But it's lovely that you can have a beautiful object that's a necessary object, as you said. And wait, I have to say that the pencil sharpener also was so beautiful because he cared about, he called it the crumbs of when you know, sharpen a pencil, and he made them into florets. I mean, God is in the detail, and he really, really, you know, God in design is in the detail, and he really gets it, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was very impressed. I think the consistent quality of thought and work, you know, is really to your credit at Interior Design Magazine that, you know, these students are all engaging at a very high level. It's very
Yeah,
impressive.
we were really, really, really proud, and so proud that you want to like kind of go on this journey with us, because we want to do more things together, and knowing how strongly your belief system is that, because maybe there's something that'll end up happening with one of these products. Who knows, right?
Yeah, I mean, hook us up with Mr. Walkie.
Oh, we done. It's done. It's done, done, done. I want a prototype. Okay, so I mean, we've talked about design, we've talked about the next gen. There also, you've also talked about your initiatives with diversity, and I know that you're doing some important things right now.
Absolutely. I think we were all sort of rattled and shaken to our core this summer with the tragic events that really kind of have stimulated a great awakening around some of the systemic issues that are creating racial injustice and these issues. So we have a three-pronged racial equity and kind of plan. And first it was finding some terrific philanthropic partners because we could just support their work, right? And everyone from the National Urban League to the NAACP to the Jackie Robinson Scholarship Fund. But the second piece of it is around representation. And we're committed to increasing representation in our, amongst all of our associates. We do well in some of our pockets of our business, and we need to do better in others. And our CEO is very committed to driving that representation at the highest levels of our organization. And that means that as we have a pipeline for candidates, we really, it's just absolutely a requirement that we consider diverse people with diverse backgrounds. So we have a lot of commitments to do there. Next is we're focused on collaborations, and whether it's influencers and product collaborations with people of color. And so those projects are underway in all of our brands.
That's great.
And then the next prong is really about education and making, you know, just inspiring people to learn and to understand their unconscious bias, and really trying to work on culture and education. So we definitely are taking this seriously. And you know, we're an organization that has done a lot with women's equity issues. We have some of the top results in terms of women in leadership. We have a female CEO, female CFO. You know,
Look
I think
at you. Look at you.
there's a greater likelihood that your CEO's name is Dave than they are a woman, because in the Fortune 500, there's only like 7% have women CEOs. But we've been leaders around the LGBTQ plus. I mean, we were very outspoken around marriage equity and access to that. And so, but this now is the next, like, we have to do better with racial justice issues. So we're taking it head on, and with our CEO's sponsorship. I mean, it's we're excited to you know, I think it's early days, but we want to make a difference.
That's wonderful. It's wonderful to hear. And, you know, like, this is kind of a new relationship for us too. And it means a lot that you're digging in to support the design community, that there's access for the designers to do really amazing projects together with you guys, that you're supporting social inequities in this world, that you're encouraging young designers and want their talent, right? Like, I want their talent, you want their talent too, and in different ways. So, which is fantastic. And Marta, you're just an inspiration, honestly.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Well, this is an ecosystem, right? the interior design community, the design media, the retailers. I mean, we all intersect, and the extent to which we can support each other, it's just win-win.
I agree. So for everyone out there, first of all, we're super delighted. Our first ever Best of Year Student Award Design winners, that Pottery Barn sponsored it, that we have this like wonderful relationship with them. We're so excited for the students, and I'm like, they better be posting on social and doing all that good stuff because they must be super excited. But then just going forth in a positive direction for 2021, because we can't wait to get out of 2020, honestly.
Yes, yes, bye-bye.
Right, but we really look forward to doing more together and getting to know you better, and we appreciate you so much.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Cindy, for the work you're doing, and congratulations on all of your big milestones, your best of year. I mean, you must be completely swamped with all of the great recognition that you're doing to support all of the top architects, designers, product people in our industry.
Manufacturers, everybody. We're just throwing the love out there because
There
you
you
know
go.
what? Because they deserve it. They deserve it. So, okay. So I'm sending you a big virtual hug, Marta. I
Okay.
look forward to our next conversation and look forward to all the good things that you're going to do. And to everyone out there, sending you love and positivity for the new year.
I've met very few people who are not excited by the prospect of kind of greatly diversifying the kind of public landscape of the street, through instruments like outdoor dining.
The design process is really used to its full potential, which is connecting people to people and people to resources. Then I think more often the end result is much more than the actual one-to-one built form.
Hey everybody, this is Cindy Allen, Editor-in-Chief of Interior Design. How are you? Today marks episode 8 of our partnership with our good friends at the NKBA, aka the Cindy and Suzie Show. And what better way to celebrate than to hear from our future with NKBA's 30 Under 30. But first, some hot off the press news. Here's Suzie Williford, EVP and Chief Strategy Officer from the NKBA, aka the Queen of the National Kitchen and Bath Association, with 50,000 members strong. How are you, Suzie, and what's up?
Hi, Cindy. How are you doing?
It's great to see you again.
When I first read this and it said 8th episode, I'm like, that's 8 months. I don't even believe it. It's so much fun. I look forward to it, but the months are just flying by.
They really are. I mean, right. A highlight is that we get to see each other for sure.
It is. And I thank you so much for having me. It's always so much fun.
Oh, well, tell me what's happening with KBIS. I need to know.
Okay. Well, as you, I'm sure, have heard, and I think probably everybody's heard by now, we've made it was an extremely difficult decision to make, but it was the prudent decision to make, to move our show to an all virtual event. Held out as long as we could, trying to make out how we work, make it work for everybody, but we can all agree that the most important thing is everybody's health and safety of your members, our exhibitors, and we just couldn't get where we needed to go fast enough because there's so much preparation that has to be done to pull off an event of that size. So KBIS in February is going to be an all virtual event, and we're working extremely hard to make sure that it is amazing. You know, it's not going to be like a webinar. It's not going to be a podcast. It's going to be, we're going to have some 3D booths. Pretty excited about that. Amazing graphics, interactive things, product tours. We'll have our conference online, which will be great for CEUs. It's called the Voices of the Industry, and that will live online for a while so people can do it. We'll have a special guest for our State of the Industry, David Kohler, which we're very excited about. We've got our Design and Industry Awards, which we're very excited about. So we're going to bring to the community and the industry everything we can to kind of do a nice thing, knowing that we're going to come back in 2022 with a vengeance. I mean, it's going to be, everybody's already excited about 2022, and it makes us all very aware of the fact that this virtual component and having an all virtual event is great. And luckily for us, we've got a team that can do it. You know, I mean, we are really, really lucky that we have the people in place, not even knowing this was coming down the pike. But we're excited about the fact that we now are confident in the fact that the life of our trade show is never ending, because the people want to be with people. They want to connect. So this is going to be the best thing. We're going to do some fun stuff together. And then throughout the year, we'll start with some events.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot that, you know, we all continue to learn, and there'll be some amazing things that come out of it. And as you said, there is nothing like people to people, but hey, I know you're going to put on an amazing show.
One thing that's going to come out of it was we were having a meeting today about it. We have meetings every day. And we were talking about the fact that there's so many people with all these companies, so many people can come to show, so many can't. So one thing that this will do is all the people that were always left behind now will have an opportunity to have a component of the show. So that's exciting. And of course, every year we do our 30 under 30s, which is also exciting, and they're going to be just as powerful, virtual or not.
Right. Okay. So thank you for sharing that. And we know you're just going to keep moving things forward in a very positive way. So I thank you. But okay, so let's talk about 30 under 30, which, by the way, so Suzie, how did they know it was our age?
No, I don't know. I mean,
the under 30 gals are laughing. You shouldn't be laughing. No. So
it's not funny. It's not funny.
It's really not funny. But tell us.
And it happened quick.
But tell us about the program, Suzie.
Okay, so this is, and the NKBA 30 under 30 is a really accomplished group of young professionals. We get hundreds of submissions every year for this. They come from all facets of the kitchen and bath industry. So it's designers, remodelers, showroom professional, architects, installers, cabinet builders, all across North America, Canada, and the US.
Okay, Suzie, what was behind the concept and when did it start?
How it started was 10 years ago, 2013. So that means that now with this class, we'll have 300 of them. 300. And we call them,
wow.
Once their year is over, they're the alumni, the 30 under 30 alumni. And we started it in 2013. The concept was to identify future rock stars. To have a little fun with the youth in the industry and to start bringing attention to them. We were blown away. I mean, we got applicants, and they can either self-nominate or be nominated, either way, where young CEOs, 25, 28 years old, with crazy companies, great ideas. Right. All of these people have passions for their, whatever their specialty is. It doesn't matter what they do, and they all have leadership potential, they have star potential, they have enthusiasm, and of course, it's fun to get them together because you can imagine when you get a group of people that are that enthusiastic, it's like crazy to get them all. And they're so enthusiastic, and then we have seen many of them transition. Molly Switzer, who was one of our past 30 under 30s, she's an AKBD. She's president of the Columbia River chapter. She was just named last year at KBIS Officer of the Year, which is the biggest honor of all for our chapter officers. Richard A to Z, or Richard Anaskevich, we call him Richard. I know you know him, but you may not know. He was in our alumni class of 30 under 30s.
That's amazing. So,
and I remember when I met him, I said, you know, you really are. I think you're going to go somewhere. You're special. Well,
you're special. I love it, Richard A to Z. So wait, also as a young professional, it's really vital to be part of the industry and connect with others. So what are some of the perks of the program?
Well, the year that they're inducted, and they participate at KBIS, and we bring them to KBIS. Unfortunately, this year that won't happen. And they do the 30 Choice Awards, where they select new products, new trends. And of course, this is very important to the exhibitor community and the attendee community, because we know that they're looking at it with a young eye. They're fresh in the world. They know what's coming down in trends and design. And so they do the 30 Choice Awards. They're invited to special events throughout the year. They go to networking summits. Last SKS invited them, the 30s, they sponsored the 30s, invited them out to their design center out in Napa Valley. And wow, have you been out there? Have you been to that design center? All right, sister, that's an experience.
Okay,
we'll do that one. We'll do that one. And they have great networking opportunities with peers and established leaders across the industry. They do focus groups. And this year, since KBIS is all virtual, they're going to have a chance to collaborate through virtual showrooms and virtual rooms. I think they'll even have a better opportunity to have an impact on design and what's going forward.
That's amazing. Okay, so without further ado, drum roll please, let's meet three of our designers from our 30 under 30 program, which by the way, I handpicked myself. So I'd like to welcome Katelyn Wood, intermediate interior designer from Kendall Ansell Interiors. Congratulations, Katelyn.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
And then we have Abby Latham, junior designer from Beyond Interior Design. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. And Malyka Abramson, your industrial designer for Delta, which was very exciting. How are you doing?
Good, good. Glad to be here.
Yes, so there was a huge list. There was talent all over the place. There was just something about the three of you, without knowing you, that I said, oh, they're the ones. So Abby, what's it like to be awarded a 30 under 30, and what do you see just in general about being part of this community?
You know, I'm so excited that I was chosen to be part of this. I did get a chance to go to KBIS last year, and I saw it posted everywhere, and I told my boss, I was like, me, please. I want this.
Hey, look at that.
And I just think it's a really great opportunity to meet other professionals in the industry and just really get my ideas out there as well. And I don't know, I love that opportunity.
That's great. And Katelyn, what's your passion in this business? What do you love doing?
My passion is design. I love finding out new trends. And for example, last year was my first year at KBIS, and it was such an inspiring experience getting to see all the new forthcoming things and kind of immersing myself in the world even more in such a way that I've never done before. It's really cool.
And Malyka, I was excited by you because, as Suzie said, it's a wide variety that makes up the 30 under 30. But of course, I can't help myself. I have to kind of go for the designers, right? So I was like, oh, an industrial designer, fantastic. What's it like working for Delta?
Honestly, I mean, I love it. I've been there for a little over a year now. And I don't think I've worked a few different places. I don't think I've ever experienced working with a team quite like Delta. You know, it's the perfect blend of like aesthetics and making things look pretty for the consumer, and then also like usability and focusing on the customer as well. So it's really fun. I love it.
Yeah, and you guys being so young and like careers ahead of you, how are you handling what's going on right now? Katelyn. How about you?
It's a different world for sure. Not kind of going out there and networking and not seeing the materials or going to the tile shops and that kind of thing. It's a different world, but it's also kind of opened my eyes up to looking at websites and kind of looking at different products and kind of going out of my comfort zone, kind of trying to find new things and kind of, so it's been an eye-opening thing, but I think it's actually been kind of good, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Suzie, look, we're doing this show right now. I don't think I would have met these gals if this hadn't happened. There are definite benefits that we have to look as positives, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And
I've been in this business since I started in this industry when I was 24. So without divulging my age, that is a long time ago. And this has been, you know, I look at the youth, I look at you guys and I think, wow, if they stay, if you stick with this, look what this has done for me. And we didn't have the advantages of these Zoom meetings. I mean, I know this has been hard,
yes.
And I know that, but what I think you'll have this whole next generation, because I know even now with all the time I've got in, I have a whole new level of appreciation, for my job, for my industry, for everything. And I think you will too.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, you all will find a different kind of strength that, and you have it in you for sure, but a different kind of strength because it's happening right now to you. But at the same time, that's why I was so excited about the show, because it's something that you really could look forward to, that you've already received an award during all this craziness, and there's lots of good stuff that's going to come out of it. Abby, are you finding that your company is supporting you in a positive way?
Oh my gosh, yes. It's been, honestly, I know it's hard, but it's been a blessing for us. Like, we have been getting a lot more projects in. And I mean, we expanded our company even more just through this pandemic. And it's really just been very eye-opening and great to be able to, I get more projects in, and I get to practice a little more with my craft. And I really love that aspect.
Are you finding a way, so Malyka, because you're industrial designer, by the way, I saw you sent this great shot of your desk with a prototype on it. I love that. Yeah. Like, I love it so much. But you know, when you're sketching, so you can sketch from home, but just in terms of the details of making an object that's going to function and also be beautiful, how are you finding working over any kind of virtual applications with the mentors that you have?
Yeah, there's definitely like a steep learning curve at the beginning. You know, we were kind of floundering about trying to figure out how can we effectively communicate like what our idea is in 3D. Because, you know, sketching, we have our steps of sketching. It's like rough at first, refined, and then we go into 3D CAD and we print it and we all look at it. And
right.
without being able to look at it, there's like a loss of advice that you can get from my mentors. So we focused a lot on how can we still meet without actually meeting. So we'll set up our prototypes and be like one at a time, like visit, go back home, discuss, write notes. It's all about the effort that you kind of put in, how you work around the challenges. And I think Delta's done a pretty good job of that. And our work hasn't suffered at all because of this.
That's great. No, that's great. And yeah, for sure. Like right now, I'm working on designing an award for a big program we do at the end of the year. And so I'm getting samples. I mean, working with the glass company that's working on the award. Like it's a different, like it's definitely different steps, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. But you know, you're going to get better from it for sure, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I want to show a little work. So, Katelyn, why don't we start with you? What's the favorite project that you've worked on so far? I see some nice projects like the Carousdale condo.
Yeah, so the Carousdale condo was one that is, I would say, aesthetically my favorite project to work on. It was actually a new build condo that a woman and her husband purchased, and they moved in and they were really disappointed with the actual craftsmanship that came out of this new build. So we were hired to come in and kind of give it an overhaul and actually make it feel like a home, not like a spec home that was just kind of off the floor. So, and also creating creative solutions for storage, because new condos don't have a lot of storage solutions. So with that, we put in this beautiful steam fireplace that was also kid friendly, so it wasn't harsh on the hands. And the whole fireplace was wrapped in an oxidized metal that was also doubled as a storage. So
yeah, I love that. That's a
really
beautiful piece. Are you finding that your clients are asking for new innovations in kitchens and baths right now with everything that's going on?
Yes, definitely. It's something that's coming up more and more, which is exciting.
So Katelyn, what's another project that you loved working on?
Another project that I loved working on was called Oak Street. So it was an old building, just like Abby's project. They lived in it for about 30 years, had horrible wallpaper, horrible carpet, horrible angles. It was all closed off. So we opened up the walls and really tried to work in a way that the angles made sense and weren't there as a burden, that they were there as a feature. So that was a really interesting one to work on.
Yeah, it ended up being a nice open space, as I recall, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Abby, what about you? I know you sent a lot of sketches. You may be in the middle of things.
I am. I think one of the cool projects that we worked on was the Quincy project. It's actually for a builder. We do a lot of spec homes with them. And this one was, in particular, was for a client. And they wanted everything to be very minimal, like barely any textures, a little contrast. And we decided to run with that and make it as minimal as we could. Especially in the master bathroom. I thought that was really great. We did a suspended mirror over an island sink, and right past that is the steam shower, and the whole exterior portion wall of the steam shower was a window, and you could look out into their garden. It was like very serene feeling in there.
So yeah. I saw a lot of renderings.
Yeah. That's like my main forte here. I do the 3D modeling and then I send them through renderings and do the videos. We're trying to do some VR stuff for our clients just to really get the vision across.
I love that. I love that. So Abby, tell us some of the things you're hearing from your clients.
Well, I think mostly it's a lot of the tech integrated appliances.
Right.
And actually, when I was at KBIS, I went to the Delta showroom, and the faucet that you can like speak to and tell it the temperature and all that, I was so amazed by that. I thought that was just the coolest thing. And I know that our clients are really wanting something to feel special. I mean, something different and innovative in their space.
Yeah, Malyka, let's speak to that. So are you involved in that kind of piece of the equation, or will you eventually?
So our team is. So with every sort of innovation that's going on kind of behind the scenes in the kitchen and bath space, they always go through the design team at some point. And I don't exactly know if they like that because we tend to ask the harder usability questions and make them go back to the drawing board on a few things. But yeah, we have a hand in most of that stuff. There's actually a branch within the design team focused on more future kind of stuff, and that's kind of what they'll handle.
I mean, Suzie and I have talked about with other more senior designers just about touchless everything, right? And I'm sure Delta is very involved in that.
Oh yes, yes.
And Malyka, what about a favorite product that you're working on right now?
So right now, I think my favorite product I'm working on is actually for our Brizo line, which is our luxury line. We kind of get to do stuff a little more out there, a little more crazy. And we're currently working on our project that's supposed to come out in maybe like 2 years. So we're having some fun right now with that behind the scenes.
Oh, so it's kind of hush hush.
Yeah.
Oh, track. Come on, Malyka, be a pal. So Abby, there's a beautiful kitchen, the Tamarisk kitchen. Yes. Can you tell us about that one?
So that was actually a a builder home from the 1970s. And our clients actually moved in like right after they built it. I think there was one other owner for a short period of time. And they just have lived in this kind of outdated space for the last 25, 30 years with old wallpaper and old can lighting and all closed off spaces. So what they asked us to do was really open up the space, make it an open concept. So we got these 22-inch beams to support the weight of the upstairs and got rid of all the interior walls. And we really wanted to speak to the architecture of the house and do a more clean-lined but transitional space for them that just made sense. They needed a lot of storage. They have a lot of papers and all that kind of stuff because they're working from home. And we were really excited to use a new material for our office. I know it's not a new material in general, but it was a porcelain countertop. And we really tried to book match the veins as much as we could. And we took the porcelain all the way up on the backsplash. And I think my favorite part was just one corner in the kitchen. I love this part. The upper cabinets don't go all the way to like wall to wall. There's just a little space in between the cabinet and the wooden wall on the one side. And we took the porcelain all the way up. And just the way that the materials of the wood accent wall, the porcelain going up, and then the metal rods that hang the floating shelves, it's really cohesive and just a nice moment where they all meet.
Hey, look, design is in the detail. I love to hear that you get so excited about a small detail that actually makes a big difference in a kitchen, right?
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah. So Katelyn, what is your firm hearing from your clients about some of the changes that your clients want right now?
One thing that we've actually found that's been really interesting that's come out of this pandemic is actually a way to use materials that actually don't absorb like bacteria. So researching things that don't retain bacteria or smells or that are easier to clean or that kind of thing. So that's been a big learning curve and a good way to kind of introduce new products and research things for us in terms of moving forward in just everyday life, whether it's the virus or just a cold. So,
right. I mean, that is the thing. Malyka also, as a company that is making functional, beautiful objects. I mean, that's something that, in a way, it's the heart, like kind of the DNA of companies like a Delta, but it's not something that in the past we had to deal with so much. And now it's just out there and clients are saying like, whether I want it to be, touchless or I want to be able to clean it and it be easy, right? So is those conversations you guys are having?
Yeah, that obviously you can't go into too much detail about what we're working on, but I know that that is definitely something that we are hearing from our clients, from our customers on multiple fronts. So
yeah, and Abby, you were saying, and honestly, you guys are in an industry right now where there is a lot of upside. So at least the residential market is staying pretty active, and obviously everyone who's at home now wants to renovate and they want a new kitchen and bath and spa. And so you were saying your company is actually expanding. So you've been able to take advantage of this.
And yes, we definitely have. It's been a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, Suzie, you're here. That this market is doing fairly well, right?
Oh, yes, ma'am. It's in the remodeling market is very, very strong. Housing industry as a whole is strong. The economy is going to make a slow and steady recovery here, but our end of the industry is in really, really good shape. And I was recorded on something the other day. I can't even remember what it was, but we were talking about the fact that the kitchen and bath industry is strong right now, and it's strong because people are in their homes more, and the homes are multitasking, and they're looking at, like Abby said, they were in the house for a very long time, and it was outdated, and couldn't stand to look at it anymore. Shoot, I told you that I did mine for the exact same reason. I look back at the pictures now. I showed them to a friend last night. I was like, why was I living in that kitchen? I'm in this business, for God's sake.
I don't want to see those, Suzie.
I wouldn't even show them to you. I'm too embarrassed. But the thing that's interesting is our kitchen and our baths used, they're the heart of the home. They were our sanctuaries. Now, there are offices, there are gyms, there are schools for our kids. They're where we have our TV. I mean, it has morphed into this multitasking areas, and we get the privilege to be able to make that impact on people by changing. I mean, Abby, how much did those people love what you did for them? I mean, their world changed all of a sudden.
Yes.
Because people can't think that they have to bring trusses in to hold their second floor up. And as these young people start coming up with ideas, it's going to take somebody at Delta that's got this wonderful idea how to do something unique that you can't tell us about. And Katelyn that, is designing special spaces. Well, we really, I think because of the fact that we are in this position that our industry is so busy, we're going to be really impactful on what happens in the US.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So I want to ask each of you before we have to sign up off, like, what's your latest kind of design obsession in your industry? So Malyka, is it, you're working with metals. So is there a metal right now that you're kind of obsessed with?
I don't know if it's like a specific type of metal, but like a treatment of metal is everyone is loving kind of that rustic, like used kind of more unique type metal, like it's like worn a little bit on the edges and stuff. And I think I saw it a lot at the KBIS last year, I think, was all these different textured metals and whatnot. And that's something that I think would be really cool brought into like the faucet space. So.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. And so Abby, what about you? Besides that detail in the kitchen.
Yes. No, I think bringing in a lot of natural features. I mean, not just plants, but even natural woods, doing something creative with the shape of them, and nubby fabrics with organic shaped furniture. I'm really loving that right now.
And Katelyn, what about you?
So mine would be a project that we just worked on was a universal project, and we've been doing a lot of those, so where it's accessible for everyone to use. So we've been really working on including not just in accessible people's homes, but in all homes, different types of accessories where it's a pull down accessory or it's different heights of things working on, so it works for everybody and your age, your abilities, your anything like that. So just kind of making things more universal across the board has been really interesting for us. And
I love that, because also that's with meaning for people. And I love that you're capping it off in that way. Suzie, do you have a final bit of advice to our wonderful 30 under 30?
Stay with it. Enjoy it. This is an industry that embraces everyone. It is forgiving and it is giving. It's all the above. And you're going to get out of it everything you put into it. So I encourage you to not only try to excel at your job, but also give back to the community. I mean, be active in associations, especially NKBA, but be active in the association world, be active in the giving world. Meet people like Cindy here and network. And the more you give, the more you get. It'll give you tenfold of what you give.
I completely agree. And this is, my hat's off to you guys, because it is definitely a trying time. And you're young designers and you're trying to find your own voice, but keep working on it. You have mentors in your offices, and learn from them and grow and try to find that inner, that really makes you unique and original, because we all are, and we just have to find it. So first of all, big congratulations, our 30 under 30, congratulations, yay. And I know Susie's gonna have lots of fun things throughout the year through the NKBA, so thank you so much. And I do want to thank my good pal, Suzie, for all of these programs that are supporting the industry, and that you're always trying to make things healthy and vital and moving forward. And I just love you for that. So thank you, Suzie.
Thank you. Thank you. Got to give back.
Yeah, you got to give back. Okay, thank you guys so much.
Bye.
30 under 30, go 30 under 30.